Good morning. I wanted to talk about that quote that I posted yesterday to review. It says, "We all get upset. Your goal is to regain your self-control once you've become upset before you deal with your children. You must discipline yourself first and your child second." And it reminded me that I was asked about this yesterday. Recently, I have been subbing at a local preschool with some old coworkers of mine, and yesterday when we were cleaning, we were just chit-chatting, and the owner said, "Hey Megan, have you ever gotten mad at a child? Because I haven't seen it." I said, yes. I probably feel anger every single day. And what I said to her is, I think the difference is I now know what to do with that, where before maybe I didn't. And if you're new to me, I started working with children in a professional setting when I was 18 years old. This year, I turn 40. That's how long I've been in this game. That's how many different personalities I've worked with. That's how many challenging situations have been presented to me. That's how many mistakes I've made, self-reflected on, and grew from. Now, it's not just the time I've put in, but it's the conscious effort to do all that self-reflective work. I had the privilege of entering into this work as a learner. And what I mean by that is I got to learn about developmental stages. I got to learn about what quality caregiving is and what quality caregiving isn't. I got to experience that in many different settings, and then I had a lot of professional development, meaning I took hours of classes and courses and read many research papers and many books, and then had support in application of that work. I loved doing it so much that in my final years as a teacher, I started doing that on the side with the parents whose kids were in my class. I would stay before school, after school, on my lunch break to help answer questions. That very practice of watching parents be able to learn and apply this in their homes, that led me to become a parenting coach. And that's what I get to do now. Because I got to experience this practice in a classroom setting when I was not afforded tools of punishment like spankings and sending to the room and taking away screen time. I did not have those options to me. I had other options that I could use, but I didn't have those options. So it invited me into learning that if I wanted to feel good in that classroom, I needed to learn new strategies and new methods. And more so, I had to work on my mindset of how I looked at the problem. And I think that has been the biggest paradigm shift for me. I actually had one of these life-changing paradigm shifts in 2011 while I was at a conference, and the session I went to was led by Tamar Jacobson, and she opened her session with this quote: "I have come to the frightening conclusion that I am the decisive element. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. I possess tremendous power to make a life miserable or joyous. I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis is escalated or de-escalated and a person is humanized or dehumanized. If we treat people as they are, we make them worse. If we treat people as they ought to be, we help them become what they are capable of becoming." I think I will always remember where I was sitting in that room and the experiences I had during that session, because when I say that I had a radical change, I had a radical change. And from that moment on, I realized that it was my work to do. It was not the child's work to do. It was my work to do. And I had, I think I had always known that, but I think that quote and that session and her book, Don't Get So Upset, really helped click that into place, that really like I control me, not them. That everything I do is modeling if I can become aware of what I am modeling, and that ruptures and mistakes no longer scared me. I think the biggest takeaway from that session was that I was now open and aware and hungry to do this work. And then I just kept taking steps forward and kept getting myself into spaces that supported that, and continued to take steps forward in practicing quality caregiving. And that started with practicing quality caregiving for myself. And is it perfect? No, but the goal is never to be perfect. The goal instead is to be a conscious farmer, if you will, right? Tending to the crops, checking for pests, doing the weeding, and then being able to harvest the bounty. And the relationship is that bounty. To circle it all back to what the original question was, Megan, do you ever get angry because I've never seen it? Yes, I do. But I can acknowledge now that there is space, and in that space, I am able to make an informed decision of how I want to show up. I'm able to quickly scan for safety, true safety. I'm able to quickly check in with myself, notice and ask myself, am I a safe caregiver to approach this child? And is what I am modeling what I want to see back? And then I'm able to go into my arsenal of tools and be able to practice a tool to help de-escalate, humanize, help, and heal the situation. So I have the awareness and the education and the practice to be able to show up and do that work. And when I see caregivers blocked, they either have a block of awareness, like they're not even aware of the cycles that and the patterns that are being executed. They have a block in education where they're just pulling from the same toolbox over and over again. Like they know that this strategy doesn't work, but they're gonna make it work. Or they have a block in practice, meaning that they know what to do, they know when to do it, but they're just not doing it. And I also have seen what happens when those blocks are removed. And when they have awareness, when they have the education, when they can seek that education, when they can have support in the application and practice. And that's what I do for parents. You know, like I'm told like all the time, like, Megan, your work is so inspiring. And I say, I do my work so that you can do your work. Is your work inspiring? Because the work that you choose to do or you choose not to do is inspiring the quality of relationship with your children. And that's where I do my work. I want to make this as accessible, as safe, as supported as I can, so that more parents consciously step into building awareness, education, and practice to inspire higher quality relationships in their home. Because when we have higher quality relationships in our homes, we have higher quality relationships in our schools, we have higher quality relationships at the bank and in line at Target and in our society. And isn't that something we need?